What's up, everybody? Welcome into Believe in Kentucky on the Believe Network. My name is Vinny Hardy. Got my co-park in the middle doing this thing for the Cats Paws in Nashville covering basketball. Now, Cole, you on here talking football. And we got a guest, a returning player, tight end, hometown kid from Kentucky, Willie Rodriguez in here today, man. Willie, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Can't complain, man.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah,
complain.
yeah.
You said before we started, and it is March, but you said the wind has knocked the power out in the room, man. Really?
Yeah, weather's been a little whack around here lately. Wind's pretty crazy today. It's been really nice some days and other days raining, cold, it's classic Kentucky weather, but love it. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Sorry, I've been trying to be muted a little bit. Some cars around me. I'm in a parking garage, so I got this whole movie villain thing going on with the dark up here and the light down here. But
All good.
excited to have you on here, Willie.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it.
So, how was practice, man? How's it going? It's early, but
Yeah.
how's it?
Yeah, so we had our first practice Tuesday. It was really good. Getting out there. I mean, obviously getting back out there in the spring, it's like you're working out for 2, 3 months straight in the winter, just winter workouts, and all you want to do really is just go play football finally with everybody. So it was really good to get out there. Practice went really well. Really got thrown right into things, but we were preparing all winter for that. So it felt really good just to get out there with the offense and with the whole team and just go against each other and actually throw around a football. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
If you don't mind, I'd love to take you back a little bit. Obviously, this past offseason has been a unique one for you,
Mhm.
in college with a coaching change, a full staff, players. Kind of first, what really went into your decision, when you're looking at where you're a very talented player, clearly a guy who was probably a hot commodity with a lot of schools maybe after you. What kind of went into that decision to return to Lexington to play for a new coach and a new staff and just stay with the school?
Yeah, so I've always loved it here. Like he said earlier, I'm from the state, from Northern Kentucky, so about an hour 15 from my family, and I've always loved it here. The 2 years I've been here, and when Stein brought his staff in, I really obviously a lot of things were going on, a lot of crazy things, and as college football is the way it is nowadays, you got to be, what I mean, you got to be smart. A lot more that goes into it than back in the day. So, ultimately, it was I met with Coach Stein, Coach Sloan, Coach Burke, all those guys, and it really came down to like the way their offense runs. And I really watched a bunch of film on them with them, and also on my own and with my family. And obviously, I wanted to stay the whole time. You know what I mean? I want to play for Kentucky, but at the same time, with a coaching change like that, you never know. But I really like Stein and the staff and what they're doing. And I think the offense they brought in really intrigued me a lot to come back, and the way they could use the tight end positive in the offense, and the way I've seen them. I mean, it's proven they use the tight end. I mean, Sloan at LSU, Stein at Oregon. Anyway, so that's really what it was for me for sure.
Absolutely. And when you look at that, obviously the tight end is such a versatile position. Not to flex, I played in high school tight end. Wasn't very good.
Okay.
Clearly, I'm not the one wearing a Kentucky uniform, and you are. So,
Flex
um,
Cole. Flex
but
Cole.
regardless, um, already, it's a versatile position, but a lot of what people love to see out of tight ends and what you did really, really well last year, among other things, is, get some of those big receptions, big catches, scoring plays. What have it's still early, but how have you been getting along with, Kenny Minchie, some of the other offensive guys and getting that going?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's obviously a big thing we've been focused on is chemistry, but obviously that just comes kind of naturally as well. So when all those other guys got here in January, there's not, it was a decent amount of group that stayed, so when a lot of new guys come in like that, you got to bond together and just hang out together and really just see out each other. But Kenny was one of the first guys I hung out with a lot, and we still hang out a ton. He's a really, really great guy. I think he's going to be a really talented player. He's very smart, and I love just talking with Kenny or hanging out with him or just doing anything with him. But as the whole offense, there's a lot of really good guys. Just meeting everybody was really cool, and we've really already done a lot together. You know what I mean? It started all the way back in January. We've been running routes, a lot during the week, working out together, and that's really where you build that chemistry, just through things like that, whether it's working out, running routes, doing stuff outside of football, the get reels we've been doing with the staff, just things like that is how you get to know each other, and that's ultimately, obviously, how you become a better offense as a unit. And I think getting to know some of these guys has been awesome. You know, everybody's from different experiences, different backgrounds, different teams. So it's a lot. Like I said, college football is crazy, but I think we got a really good squad together. And I think as we go through spring ball, we'll learn a lot more about each other. You know, when you go through adversity and when pads come on, and you know, there's a lot of excitement around spring ball as well. We already had that Tuesday. You know what I mean? The energy it brings is one of the things I love about it and love about football. So that was great to get out there on Tuesday and start that. So.
Absolutely. And I don't want to hog all the time here, Vinny. I want to let you ask some questions too. But you touched on something I wanted to ask you about there too. When we spoke to Ty, he mentioned it. I spoke to Coach Stein a few days ago for the first day of spring ball. He mentioned it. We've heard a lot about these get real meetings, these get reals. Just can you walk us through a little bit of what some of that looks like from your perspective, and then, you know, how that's been beneficial for you and your teammates in establishing a lot of that chemistry, especially with the craziness of college football with completely new coaches and completely new teammates in a lot of ways?
Yeah, so basically the way I would explain it in my own words, it's basically, you know, when you play football and you're a college football player, a lot is about you as a player and just your game and how, you know, how you're playing, your play style and all that, and how you are on the field. But really these get reals are us being able to know each other, our backgrounds, you know what I mean, see each other, where each other come from, stuff you don't get to talk about on the daily basis when you're just eating lunch, you know what I mean? You're not gonna bring up, be that vulnerable with each other. But that's really what it is when you get to know somebody's background or get to know somebody where they came from or their why or the reason that they wake up and they're motivated every morning. I think really empowers each other when you're playing out there in the fourth quarter and you're right next to the dude. You know a lot more about that dude personally, and you know his why, your why. He knows your why, and that's really I think the point of the get real is just to know each other in a deeper meaning and just know everybody's why and how they came up, how they grew up, and their story. So.
To that point, like you just said, and like Cole, you just said when we had Ty on here, Ty said that you guys know each other for a long time and still found
Yeah.
out some stuff about each other to get real.
No, yeah, that's how I mean, that's how it is. I played Ty Bryant. I was hurt, but I played Ty Bryant my junior year of high school. It would have been his senior year. And he was a really good player. But like that, I mean, we some of these guys you've known for years, but you don't know, you know what I mean, maybe how they grew up or their siblings or like, you know what I mean, their story, where they came from, if they moved around. And it's just little things like that, as Ty said too. So yeah.
Oh, got you muted.
Yeah, I think you're muted.
Sorry about that.
It's
All
all
good.
right.
Yeah, Ty also touched on, you know, what you kind of talked about there with, especially when it comes down to some of those fourth quarter moments. I believe his quote, I put it in a story. I think his quote was, when you know that guy next to you, you're like, I'm going to fight for that guy. I'm going to give everything I got for that guy. Do you feel like that's also a big factor for this team?
Yeah, exactly. Like I was saying earlier, it's like basically when it comes to that fourth quarter, and you know what I mean, stuff went not your way, stuff went your way. How it always is. It's SEC ball. That's how it's going to be. It's coming out of the fourth quarter almost every game, no matter what. And really, in those times when you're tired on the tempo drive or it's third down and 5, you got to know the dude next to you. You know what I mean? His like it's just personally knowing each other in a different way where you're fighting for each other almost, and like you know what he came from, his background, what he had to do to get here, and like this is his goal, but he also has more goals to achieve, and you want to fight for each other because you know he's going to fight for you and have your back for your goals as well when you learn each other on a deeper level, meaning with that background and everything. So
You mentioned siblings, and sometimes you hear older people say, that come from big family. I had 8 brothers and sisters. I had to be tough. Do
yeah.
you one of your big things is physicality and toughness. Do you think having a lot of brothers and sisters kind of made you tougher coming up?
Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, I have 5 siblings, so I got 2 younger twin brothers, a younger sister who's got special needs, and I got an older sister who plays D1 soccer, and then an older brother who's becoming a lawyer. But really, and both my parents played college sports, so really, growing up, we constantly had competition in the house. And a big thing is we all wrestled growing up. My dad made all 4 of us boys wrestle growing up since we were 5. So we had a wrestling mat in the garage, and that was just part of it. We had a hoop in the driveway. We're constantly doing something, and obviously that shapes you, right? It shapes you who you are. It's just what I mean, when you're little and you lose, you want to what I mean, go cry at your big sibling. Just you're gonna beat your head in when you're a little 8-year old, and that obviously shapes you a lot who you are. And then I'm the old one. I go pick on my 2 little twin brothers, and because I'm the old one now, you know what I mean. It's just how it goes. But I think that's just how what makes you like yourself, you know what I mean, what shapes you be is like something like me and my sister are really probably the closest in age because we're in the middle. So we're only 1 year apart and we've been working out together in the morning since about sixth grade. So I mean that was like something we always did, me and her, because all the other ones were a little spread out in ages, but we always had the similar schedule. So we always work out together. And stuff like that, like with having a big family, like you said, is just like it creates competition in the house, and every day is like you're competing for something. It could be something dumb, but we're always competing for something. And there's always, obviously there's a lot of jokes done there and stuff, and there's always family time, but I mean most of it's competition 24/7. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
You touched on you have a wrestling background as well. A lot of your siblings do. When I was playing football as well, several of my teammates were also on the wrestling team. I wanted to ask you, as someone who took that route and did that, what are some of the kind of skills and abilities that having a wrestling background gives you that you can translate onto a football field?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is something I'll probably tell people the rest of my life, and something my dad taught me when I was little. And he always told us, because wrestling, if you know anything about wrestling, it's one of the most brutal sports of all time. You most of the time you get in your face beat in a lot by older dudes. If you're less experienced, I wrestled for 13 years of my life since I was 5, so that was a big part of my life. And obviously you have highs and lows, and wrestling's one of those sports that's one on one. It's just you and another dude. So what I would say to people is that it really teaches you how to lose and teaches you how to have self control, because when you're
Mm,
little, you lose, you're throwing your headgear, you're really pissed. But then once you get to that high stage, you start winning. It just teaches you both levels. And then what I say from a football aspect, it helps a ton with leverage. And for me as a tight end, I used to be a running back until about high school. So it helped when I became a tight end to help a lot with my hands and leverage. You know what I mean? Just being able to leverage people, knowing how to handle somebody's body. You know what I mean? That wrestling background definitely, and I played defense too. That helps a ton when you know how to tackle somebody. It's just like a double leg, which is it's just a part of wrestling. But I would, yeah, I mean, me and my brothers wrestled. It definitely helps with football a ton, but it also helps build your character and teaches you a lot of life lessons. And I think they go really well together. I think if you look at a lot of the guys, my dad always told me that because he knew it was a super hard sport. Guys like Ray Lewis, there's tons of football players that wrestled in their careers and throughout their lives. I think it's just a really good sport for mental toughness and also physical toughness for sure.
Yeah, you
yeah.
talked about making that switch from running back to tight end. Kind of when did that switch take place, and what was that process like for you, and what was kind of going through your mind as you're making that transition into clearly a position that's gotten you far, going to the SEC level of football and even potentially further?
Yeah, so basically, I would say I started playing football in third grade. So I played baseball, basketball, wrestling, basically every sport you could play up until basically high school. I played baseball, wrestling, and football in high school. But third grades through eighth grade, I played running back and outside linebacker. But I really liked running back a lot. And then when COVID happened, I showed up freshman year and I was 6'3", so I grew a lot during COVID, and they decided to move me to tight end. And at first, I won't lie to you, if you ask some of my freshman and high school coaches, I was pretty pissed. I did not want to move to tight end because I didn't think I was a tight end. I thought I was always going to be a running back, but I realized, being a 6'3", 6'4" running back is probably not the thing. So when I kept growing and got to that, I decided to put some weight on my frame throughout high school. I gained a lot of weight, and it really fell into place pretty well for me. There was a pretty good tight end to come through Cuff Cap before me who laid the path, and I thought seeing what he could do as a tight end, I put on a lot of weight for my junior year, and I really fell in love with tight end because I think just everything that goes into it, because I love physicality as a wrestler and as a football player. I love, just physicality, but then also being able to still score and still have that, ball in your hands, feeling like a running back. So I really fell in love with it. And then I feel like tight ends just ultimately is like the ultimate team player. You can put your face in there and block anytime. You can go out on the outside, basically do whatever they need you to do. And I still think to this day I'm willing to do whatever. And that's what I love about tight end the most. And obviously I miss my running back days, but I think ended up being a pretty good switch at the end. So, but
So mousing a safety or pancaking a D end, which one you like the best, man?
Moss and the safety or pancake in the DN. I think it depends on the situation. I love a 50-50 ball any day. That's what I love to do. But I think there's no better feeling than pancaking or finishing a block and looking up and seeing your running back taking off down the field. I think that's a pretty good feeling. It's just a dominating feeling. and that physicality I love to bring. But yeah, I like shoot, I don't know. It depends probably on the the play, the end of the play. But I love both. Love to do both for sure.
That's a pretty common sentiment you hear with a lot of football players who have changed positions or played multiple sides of the ball. For you personally, I mean, having that running back experience before tight end and having some of that defense experience too, how do you feel like that's helped you to kind of, know what your teammates need to be doing, how you can better support them by knowing the position kind of in and out?
Yeah, so what I've learned as I grown as a football player is just learning the full concept. You know what I mean? Whether that's being able to identify coverage or learning what everybody's doing on the field, the O lineman to the running back to everybody. But I think with that running back background is just what to do with the ball in your hands, just naturally. And then with the defensive background, I mean, I played kickoff my freshman year. I played punt last year. So I mean, I think that's something you can carry with you all the way to the NFL and to any level of ball. Is just basic body positioning, and I think I always loved playing both ways. I would still play both ways, I think, if they let me. And that's just something I think is great about football is you can just go out there, and I loved it when I played both. And but ultimately, obviously, tight end. I always thought defense could have been a way, but yeah, I loved both, and I think it teaches you a lot about the game.
I asked Ty the same thing, and I got to ask you as well, especially guys that go both ways. It can be any scenario that you want. It can be in the hole. It can be out in space. But it's 4th and 3. Willie Rodriguez, the running back, is meeting up with Willie Rodriguez, the linebacker. Are you making the play, getting the first down? Are you stopping yourself when it's turnover on downs? What's happening?
Well, I think me against me. I think that's going to get pretty violent, but I think ultimately, my wrestling background, I'm going to get low and I'm going to go straight for the legs every time in the hole. I'm going to go straight for the lower half. So I think, 10 out of 10 times it'd be 5-5, but I think one time I might take myself on defense because I like me on defense. You know what I mean? I also like myself on defense. So yeah, but that's a good question. I never really thought about that one.
It's crazy. And Ty picked Ty Bryant, the DB, over Ty Bryant, the running back, too.
Yeah. Ty Bryant comes up and he hits that run. So if you watch that film, he comes up. So I would pick Ty Bryant on defense probably too.
Yeah. So you're not gonna hurdle yourself. I mean, you
Yeah, I
can't
know.
do
I was thinking
that.
about that, but I think if you get caught in the air with a hurdle, it's something I mean, also
Yeah.
think. So no, it's a good question though.
Appreciate it. So you 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 play baseball and basketball as well. So just give us a little scouting report on Willie Rodriguez, the hooper, and Willie
Yeah.
Rodriguez on the diamond. What was
So
your games like?
I hoop basically most of my life. I played AAU, all that. I love basketball. I always love basketball, but the problem with basketball is it's during wrestling season. So I was also a wrestler my whole life. So I would be running from a wrestling tournament straight to a night basketball game, but I would also be doing both back and forth. So that was always hard for me. But when it came to high school, I picked wrestling over it because I thought, I was a pretty good wrestler at the time, and I thought I loved the way it really shredded up your body during wrestling season, how fit you could get, and just the way like I was always going to play multiple sports. I love playing multiple sports, and I played baseball all the way up until my junior year of high school. And I love baseball. Baseball was in my blood. Growing up with a Cuban father, you don't really got too much of a choice playing with baseball at a young age.
Mhm.
So I had to play baseball, and I love baseball. That was one of my favorite sports. I played center field. I pitched a decent amount. I was my dad made me a lefty hitter, so I would bat lefty. I love hitting. That's really honestly, if I'm being honest with you, that's what I always thought I was going to be as a college baseball player and then play continuously on in my life. But football really took off for me, and I really fell in love with it during high school, late high school. I really just fell in love with the energy of the game and the physicality of it. And I love baseball still. If I could go over there with the baseball team right now, I might hit a few balls, but I still love the game. I still love all those games, but I ultimately fell in love with football. But I enjoyed playing that. And I think playing multiple sports throughout your life really just helps develop you as an athlete and develop you in different ways. And honestly, I still feel certain situations like fielding a kick or over the shoulder catch is my baseball background coming into it, and I can see that stuff, like little stuff like that you realize down the road, and that's benefits from playing all those sports. So
Absolutely.
Ponatoski's doing both. upon a
I
time.
know he is. Yeah, yeah, up that molar. I know, right? It's crazy,
We'll have
crazy.
to get something set up with Mingione and the Batcats over there.
I
Get Willie
know,
out to some
I
BP
know,
out there.
I know. I
Yeah,
love going. I love watching their games, man. I love baseball, but you know, can't play them all.
yeah. And getting back to hooping though, we Bam dropping 83 last night. What do y'all? I mean, what y'all
Great
think?
out of nowhere. I was sitting in my bed studying for the install today, and I get a text, and he's like, "Dude, you gotta turn on the game." He was at like 50 or something, and I was like, "This is ridiculous." But all those free throws, that was crazy. We were typing in the team group chat. That was like random Tuesday night, 83 points, second time. That's second all time. That's pretty crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
Allegedly second all time.
Hmm.
We allegedly second all time.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, that is true.
I ain't seen the game yet, so
oh, you ain't seen Wilt's game?
no, I ain't seen nothing of it. So
Yeah.
And people trying to hate on him. Look, Kobe did the same thing. Kobe was jacking up shots at the end.
Yeah.
Kobe checked out, and they brought him back in. And look, if you're gonna score that, man, you got to kind of chase it at the end. Kobe
Yeah, I
did
think
the same thing. So all the little shade from
yeah.
Bam, y'all, come on, y'all,
Yeah,
calm
you
down.
got to.
I mean, all I'll say is trust me, it is fun to be a hater sometimes. But let's be honest, you put almost every NBA player in the same situation. Most of them are not getting 83, even with those circumstances. So
Yeah.
like that's generational.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
for sure.
if they were, it would have happened before last night. So yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
absolutely.
exactly.
I wanted to ask you, Willie. You talk so much about being a multi-sport athlete, running from practice to practice to practice. You hear a lot about players who played in high school, middle school, growing up, and then getting to college. It really becomes like a job for you. I mean, football has become such a big part of your
Mm.
life. Do you feel like sports dominating so much of your time growing up kind of helped you to make that adjustment a lot easier than maybe some other guys do, where you have to get to this spot where now there's money on, like, you guys are worth a lot of money with NIL, with with the brand, and you've got to take care of your bodies, and it really is like a job in a lot of ways for
Mhm.
you guys.
Yeah, I think it definitely is like a job nowadays. And I think something like you say, like growing up playing a lot of sports really teaches you, and still having school thrown in on all that, and still having, family back in the day when I lived with all them. It really teaches you just how to manage your time better. And that honestly prepares you for when you get to like a job like this, like we are now in college football, and how like you just have to manage your time really well, because when it gets busy with practice, you have to study for an exam, but you also got to study the install for the next morning. So it's really just breaking down your time management, which is something I'm glad to have just in my life because of all those sports I played. And yeah, I definitely think it's treated like a job now, and it should be. But yeah.
You mentioned the prepping and the phase one and everything with the coaching change, the new offense. Do you see your role being a whole lot different? And is this offense, as you dive into it, what's it like learning it, and how do you see how your role is in it?
Yeah, it really gets me really excited just going through a lot of these installs and what we've been doing through these practices. And I think I'm willing to do whatever they need me to do. And I think my role will be, in line, split out, basically whatever. And that's what I've always wanted to do, is just basically wherever you put me on the field, I'm willing to be. If that's in the backfield, a running back, I don't know where it is, but I'm willing to do whatever. But I see them using the tight end a lot. And I think as this offense excels, I think we have a lot of good weapons in this offense. And we can continue to build chemistry as an offense, and, being coachable as an offense, and being new together. Everybody being new is really just about learning these concepts, taking it all in, and just getting better as we go throughout spring ball.
Absolutely. And by this point, we've already talked about kind of football being like a job. If you're playing it still at this level, you got to love the game. You got to love what you do. So for you and your love of this game, how exciting is it that you guys are going to have a spring game again this year? You guys are going to be suiting up and playing a little bit of football on April 18th with your teammates.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I can't wait. I just can't wait to put on pads. We got pads Friday. We're putting on some shoulder pads, so I just can't wait to put on some pads in general. But I think that's always one of the best times of football is first time you put on pads. But I think having that game is something to look forward to, throughout spring ball. Because spring ball is just you guys against each other every day. So, it can get a little bit repetitive, just like fall camp can. But having that spring game, it definitely something to look forward and have people come watch you. And it's definitely an exciting thing to look forward to for sure.
You mentioned switching to tight end and being a little bit pissed off at first, and then you start growing into it. You physically grew, and then you grew to where you really love the position and enjoy playing it. So who are your favorite tight ends, and who do you like to watch? Since you became a tight end, who did you start watching and your favorite guys to watch?
Yeah, so I've always loved watching George Kittle because since high school, that's just somebody who's like, how can you not love watching him? Just because I like to consider myself an energy guy, and I love watching dudes with energy. And seeing him block so well, like we were talking about earlier, pancaking somebody in the end zone, he's laughing, he's screaming, you know what I mean? And then at the same time, catching a drag over the middle and taking it 20 yards downfield. I think he's one of the most versatile tight ends in the league still to this day. And then as I've gotten older, and now that I'm in college football right now, and I like watching a lot of different tight ends, but Trey McBride has been a recent one. He's done really well in the league. And I really like watching him for receiving a lot and just his routes and how he runs with the ball in his hands after the catch. But yeah, I would say it started at Kittle, and now I watch a lot of receiving for Trey McBride. But I've watched a lot in the past of Kittle's just blocking, different drills he does, and everything like that.
You're breaking my heart. Rob Gronkowski.
I mean, Rob, and Rob's just one of those guys. I mean, everybody watched him growing up. I watch him. I'm talking about guys I'm watching now, but like I watched Rob growing up. I mean, there's tons of tight ends I watched growing up. But Rob obviously is one of those dudes that's, he's pretty inspirational with the way he plays and the energy he plays with. But I definitely love me some Rob too, for sure.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm a diehard Boston fan.
Yeah, you just your allegiance just bled out right there. You just couldn't help yourself, man. You just like some love for the Pats for sure.
It's my team.
Yeah, and y'all, man, y'all do anything in free agency? Yeah,
we're making some moves here and there. Unfortunately, we had to part ways with Diggs, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's just he's at that stage of his career, and y'all are where y'all are. I don't know if Willie's power might have totally went out on him.
Might have. We got Jason Tatum back on the Celtics.
There you go. Yeah, crazy.
My fault, man.
You good, man? You good?
I don't know if you caught that. I said I was just giving you a hard time. I'm a diehard Boston sports fan. So
okay, yeah. Okay.
He just decided he is, man. That's what I gotta put up with, Willie, man.
Yeah.
So, man, Cub Calf, man, you got big expectations for them this year in football. What kind of team you think they're gonna have, man?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I always do. I think that's a standard at that school, and it always has been when I first came in. I think there's a very high standard at that school, and I love playing there. I love my years there, and I think we left it at a good place. And I love going back and watching, and I love Coach Evanston and seeing what he's doing, and all the coaches that have been there in the past. And I think they're always gonna have a solid squad. This will probably be the first year now with this graduating class. I'm gonna have to learn some different names, but I know a few dudes a lot on the team, and I'm gonna be going back a decent amount. I got a little brother who's on the team this year, Antonio. So one of my twin brothers still plays football, and the other one's a straight wrestler now. They both wrestle, but one of them still plays football. He's a bigger boy, so I'm trying to get him on my old meal plans and get him to put some weight on so I can come watch him this season. But I'm excited to watch what they do this season.
Yeah, you have to keep our eyes out for both of those guys.
Yeah, you doing some recruiting for Kentucky and the siblings?
I might. We'll see what they develop like. Every time I get home in May, December, I'm taking them to work out with me. But got to make sure they develop right, and got to get them to eat some. Because he reminds me of myself. He's only big one's only about 185, and I'm like, you got to gain some weight to play some football, man. Reminds me of myself in high school though. Right.
Hey, might be a tad bit of a late bloomer, but that growth spurt's still on the way.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So, what's your most memorable play, your favorite play at Kentucky? Fans may have different memories. Oh, this is my favorite play, but you personally, what are the plays that you're most proud of?
Okay, I think in my career, I've only been here 2 years, so it's feel like I've been here a while, but it's only 2 seasons. But I think one of my favorite memories as a freshman was we were at Ole Miss. They're number 6 in the country, and I had a hit on the first play of the game on kickoff, and it was a fumble, but it got called back. But like still, either way, it was just the energy it brought, and I love. I think one of the best things about football is those hits on. It was a noon game. It was early game, and I think one of the best things about football is those kickoffs and the beginning of the game. And I think you can really set the tone for a game, and that's all we talked about all week is setting the tone. And I love that hit. And I thought it was one of my best memories from my freshman year. Also, that same game, I had my first career catch, a little screen pass for about 25 yards, and that obviously was a big win that season, going on the road and being number 6 in the country. So that was definitely a big memory for me. And I would say this year, I'm trying to think about this year, because we had a pretty fun year with decent amount of games. And if I had to pick one, I mean, that's definitely probably my all-time favorite memory so far, just because the win and the tone setting and all that. But this year I thought a really fun game that like a lot of us was the Florida game. I thought we went in tempo a lot and we were just dominating. It was a really
Yeah.
fun game. And I think I only had one catch that game, but I think it was really just in the run game, having a lot of fun. And it's not always about the catches. If you're dominating the game like that, you're dominating. So what I mean, I thought it was a really fun game just to be with the guys in the locker room after and everything like that.
As you kind of reflect on that, the what feels like a longer Kentucky career, but is still kind of just beginning at the same time.
Mhm.
Um, how important was it when you got to college, when you got to Kentucky, you're making that transition? How important was a guy like Josh Caddis to you, and how he helped you develop and grow?
Yeah, yeah, he was really important. He actually was my host of my official visit out of high school, and then as I came through my freshman year, we actually moved in together as well too. So then we lived together for my sophomore year. But like one of my freshman year, when you first get here, I didn't early enroll, so I got here in June. And Josh was a 3-year vet at the time, and then 4-year for my sophomore year. So he had a lot of experience under his belt playing as a freshman and all that. So he helped me a lot, just understand how to study the playbook and everything, things like that, and just how to become the play like during games, just little things. But I just liked watching him a lot. And when I was a freshman, that when I played early as a freshman, his experiences taught me a lot. And playing with him on the field, also, what I mean, being how smart he is and a good communicator, taught me a lot of how to become when I'm in that position of being the older guy and how to what I mean, lead the room and everything like that for sure.
Yeah, just passing on that knowledge that you get, you turn right around and share that, man.
Yeah, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. Man, Willie, we enjoyed you taking time to hop on here and kick it with us and chop it up, talk about the spring, talk about the family, talk about your favorite tight ends. We hit all kind of different topics, man, and it was fun. Wish y'all the best in spring practice, fall camp, upcoming season, learning a new offense, all that, man, and wish y'all the best this year, man.
Yes, sir. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Absolutely, thank you,
sir.
Willie.
Yeah.
Appreciate you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
So
This UK tight end Willie Rodriguez. Spring practice kicking off, new installs, all that good stuff. So that was a good conversation, man.
Absolutely. Still some cars starting to. I'm trying to keep myself mostly muted whenever there's cars or people walking around me, not to get too much messing up the episode. But yeah, it was a great conversation with Willie. Always exciting to see what he's going to do this season. I mean, he's flashed just so much potential in his first 2 years. Like he said, it's felt like he's been here longer because of how much of a mainstay he's been in that Kentucky offense. So I'm very excited to see what year 3 holds for Willie, and if they get him back year 4.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, man, I hope you have a good rest of the evening. Not gonna keep you in the car in the garage any longer than we need to. You gonna get you some hot chicken and then
Hey, we're hitting up the Johnny Cash Museum tonight, so that's
hey, yo, icon, man. So there you go, good stuff. You'll be in the building for Kentucky, Missouri tomorrow because they survived and advanced LSU. And it's tournament time, trying to make a run. We'll see if they get Florida Friday, but one game at a time. So one down, chance for revenge against Missouri. So we'll see what happens tomorrow at, I guess, 11:30 your time, right? Cole Park for the Cats polls. Y'all check out all the coverage there. Check the tweets out from the arena. All the coverage, all the insights. The 1,800 words on who? Tell the people about.
Cam Williams made his big return today. Got a good 18-word story. I got to speak with Cam in the locker room after the game, and he kind of told us what this whole process has been like, from the time of the injury to the surgery to the rehab process getting back. Great stuff out of him today, and got a good story out on that. And then have some coming on. Brandon Garrison, big day today with 17 points. He was had back-to-back threes. Brandon Garrison, back-to-back threes, feeds families. So we're out here in Nashville. We'll have that story coming. And then I will be back in the building tomorrow morning for Kentucky-Mizzou. Very excited to see if this run can continue. And very excited to see some Johnny Cash memorabilia as well.
Yeah, man, that's a fun evening, man. BG, that's what helped them separate because it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. BJ gave him a little cushion. So yeah, man, enjoy Johnny Cash Museum and whatever else Nashville has to offer, and however long you get to stay. I hope you're down there for a while, man. So
hey, that'd be fun, right?
Absolutely, man. I always appreciate you, Cole. So check them out, catspals.com. If you don't have them on Twitter, Google Cole Park, Cats Pals. You can find them there, all that good stuff. Appreciate Willie Rodriguez. Appreciate Cole Park. My name is Vinny Hardy. That's been Believe in Kentucky. Let's look for these Cats to get another win tomorrow against Mizzou, and we'll holler at everybody next time. Go do us a favor and subscribe and review and leave comments on Apple Podcasts for us and tell your friends about us. All that good stuff. Spread the word about the episodes, and we'll keep on coming back with more content. For now, we'll say peace out. Go Cats. We'll holler at y'all next time on Believe in Kentucky on the Believe Network.